Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. After last night's reporting of the Grid Finder Xfinity Series, we return tonight for the Wilder Graphix Truck Series race. I wonder how many times I'm going to slip up and say the word Cup Series race. That is entirely possible this evening as we welcome you into a Sunday night here on the Captain Esports Network. I am the Captain, brought to you by, well, myself, I guess. I don't know why I just doing a sponsor plug for myself. But anyways, I am sponsored by no one, but I am partnered with Landon. Landon, you got a sponsor in Wilder Graphix on your truck in the 75 there, but you're here tonight, Talladega Superspeedway. A lot of fun coming up here in a few minutes. Going to run 80 laps plus 8 laps of a heat race on one of the wildest tracks that we can race on.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, if you look at what happened in the Xfinity race on Tuesday night, it was unpredictable. I mean, everyone was all over the place, and even in the sprint race, there were about 3 big ones. And I drove through one and then got started in another one. So it's going to be all about survival tonight, and all about finding your draft partners and getting up there through the field. So it'll be fun to watch.
Also, not doing a Jennifer Jo Cobb. If you can pull that off, you will be good. Those who didn't watch truck race yesterday, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's take a look really quickly at the Pole Award, which is, of course, presented by Put a Cap on that Pole Award winner tonight, and that happens to go. Let me make sure I get the thing up here real quickly. Actually, Joseph Murata, great pole for him in that number 5, and kind of a bias thing here on my end when I get this working for me. Genesee Beers on his truck, which, of course, is based out of upstate New York in the Rochester area. Yeah, that was definitely the beer I had at my wedding because they took care of us there. So appreciate that, and that's really cool to see on his truck tonight. 56.155 miles per hour lap. My English will catch up with me sometime tonight, I promise. But anyways, starting lineup really quickly for the race looks like this. Murata and Anthony Giuliano, Landon Quisenberry. You guys must have had some kind of qualifying plan down, didn't you? Brandon Massey, 4th. Anthony McInturf, row 3, alongside Kevin Otis. Chandler Summers and Keith Bouchard in row number 4. Row 5, Ira Kohlhaas, the Xfinity winner. Dale Lee, Dylan Reed, who had a chance until the last lap last night, or Tuesday night, to get that win. Joe Owen there. Dylan Gonis and Ryan Reeves going to be the 14 starters in tonight's race. But I seriously have to ask this question. Did you guys have some kind of qualifying deal going on there? Because your team took care of the front row and third.
No, that was just more coincidence. It's kind of hard to do single lap qualifying and really get yourselves in the same spot. You'd have to be picture perfect, but that's just how things worked out. But then again, it's the sprint race, so anything can happen. Right. So even though your teammates are right up front with you, you're not going to finish that way.
So again, this heat race is going to be all of 8 laps, just like last night. You will see these guys go racing hard and trying to get whatever track position they can get. It's almost like a simulated pit party here. What they call, as I'm starting to call it, basically is, because that's kind of what it is, like I said. So here we go, Talladega. 8 laps. We saw 3 big ones within 2.5 miles yesterday. Will we see it again here in this race? Here we go. Green flag is out as they slowly work their way up through the 4 gears. These trucks probably the funnest package you will see on the sim when it comes to super speedway racing. ARCA cars might give them a run for their money. Look at that, already 2 and 3 wide. Down the back straightaway as you see the 17 as Giuliano go to the lead. These trucks can run the bottom, they can run the middle, they can run the top. This is how you go. Oh, hold on, Brandon. He almost had a crushed can of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that's not the first time he's gotten squirrely getting a push like that. He was like that towards the end of the Xfinity race. He's getting some major shots, and these trucks are very unstable. So you're going to see a lot of that tonight. Just if you get a bump the wrong way, you're going to be all over the place as the guy that's being on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, those bumpers do not match up on the trucks. The bumpers The front end will literally pick up the rear of the truck. And that's almost what happened there. As you see the 5 going back to the lead of Murata. As they come off of turn number 4, you see the 65 there, the 17 in the middle. That 069 truck, that is Kevin Otis. Isn't it nice to be like in 8th position and know that you can see the leader right outside the left side of your window?
I would say yes, but not here. It makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, well, but speaking of uncomfortable, there goes Landon to the grass and others going into the wall. And that's going to be the separator of the field here as they continue on. Everybody involved. There's the 69, as I mentioned a second ago. There is, well, there's Ira Kohlhaas. His truck's destroyed. Landon, you've already gone to pit road and said, yeah, I'll just bring the backup truck out.
Yeah, I think I already given up on that one. I'm not really sure what ended up starting that accident. I think it was a little bit of, I think it was when the guys cut up from the top there. There was a little bit of, they started bobbing around and there was some contact that shoved the 75 to the apron, but this is one of those Talladega things. You can't really help it.
And we stay green. And working on the graphic issue here really quickly that is happening to me again. So trying to work on that. As you see the Wolfpack truck up there on the top side, putting some pressure on. That's the 84 who definitely kind of hung around being quiet last night in that race. But McInturf, he had a chance to win it when it was all over with last night. But in the end, unfortunately, got caught up in a late race deal. So we're down to these 5 trucks, really going for the win now.
And the only problem for Massey right now is he's pretty much a sitting duck. The pair of 2s behind him are both teammates. The 39 and 84 teammates, then he has the 2 Wilder Graphix trucks behind him. So if he's going to want to win this sprint race, he's going to have to do a lot of blocking.
Which you will see in these trucks, and this is the one thing you will see a lot of tonight is side-by-side racing. If you can get down there and side draft, which is where you pull the air off of the other truck, and it helps you actually speed up, or it slows the other truck down a little bit. You see moves like that, then all of a sudden you can get those runs into these corners and up the straightaway here. But right now, everybody being able to hold still and hold on to the positions they're in. There you go, Massey to the lead with help from Murata. Giuliano going to kind of get single file himself. So now got 2 teammates second and third, and right off the bat, they're going to jump to the top now and go to work.
Yeah, the 2 teammates that were pushing Massey just swapped. Not anymore.
Never run on that one. And apologies for the no graphics, working on something as we call the race here to fix it. So stand by. Should have it fixed here momentarily. It's a good thing about having 2 monitors. I'm able to fix it really quickly, I think. Unless I make human errors. Down into turn 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Going to be coming to the white flag this time by. Who is going to be the first one back to the checkered flag and winning the pole award tonight? We will see. As I finally got the graphic fixed. Woohoo, I'm happy now. Yay.
Here comes those two back on the outside. Murata and Giuliano had those guys almost cleared, but they had a little bit of a bump draft go wrong going into one and got them loose, so they lost all that time they gained.
Who is going to be the first one back to the line here as you see the 5 up to the front. Giuliano pushing his teammate. The pole sitter might actually win the pole for tonight. Through the qualifying draw, or not draw, but the qualifying itself and also the race. There we go. As they come off of turn number 4 and through the tri-oval, Massey trying to make a move up top. McInturf trying to make a move, not able to do it. It's Murata getting the win. And this is the part where they wreck each other. All right, so we'll get everybody lined up here after a pretty, I don't want to call it a tame race. There was that big wreck, but some fun racing going back to the finish here of that one. And now they'll wrap this up and they'll bring in the main event here, which will be 80 laps tonight, a little over 200 miles. To be exact, it would be like 200 and, like, let's see, 2.6 would be 5.2. So 210.4 ... miles of a race. So there's your lineup there on the left-hand side of the screen. As Murata, Giuliano, Quisenberry, Massey, McInturf, Otis, Summers, Bouchard, Kohlhaas, Lee, Reed, Owen, Gonis, and Reeves will be your 14 starters. Now, Landon, what'd you learn in that first race outside of Don't Wreck that you potentially could have taken into this race here?
I would say just how different the trucks are. I mean, you know, this is the first time that we've run trucks this whole season, and it's on a plate track, and that's where you're going to feel the aero the most, at least in terms of when you get a car around you. So just how loose they are and how much you can really bump somebody, because if you really bump somebody wrong in these trucks, it becomes a huge issue, and you'll get some guys caught up in a wreck. So just keeping on that and maintaining everything will probably be the biggest key tonight.
So obviously, cars or trucks roll off, I should say. As you see, Murata and Giuliano, the teammates there, rolling away, and teammates right behind him in the 65 and the NC State number 84, the Wolfpack truck. Dylan Reed back there running his green Rowdy Energy truck. Looks like Kevin Otis did not take the pace laps here, so he will not start this race and be 14th, it looks like. If you didn't get to watch the Grid Finder Xfinity Series broadcast last night, obviously a fun one there that saw some wild racing, some moves being made in that race, and you know, a wild finish in the NC, and Ira Kohlhaas win actually his second straight race when you look at it technically, as he won the Cup race last Wednesday and then come back and win the Xfinity race on Tuesday. Can he go 3 for 3? Which would be kind of weird to win the final Cup race technically and then win the Xfinity race in the middle and then win the first truck race afterwards.
He went with 3 different classes there.
Yeah, Kyle Busch in there, I guess we'd call that, huh? So as I mentioned, 80 laps, pace car going to hang a left. Sometime. There he goes. We might have to Do what happened to Richard Petty a couple years ago, getting black flagged off the track at Darlington. But Giuliano and Murata teammates. Wilder Graphix creating both of those trucks. And here we are tonight in the Wilder Graphix Truck Series and the Talladega Challenge, as I'm calling it. The Talladega Truck Challenge. 80 laps of racing. Here we go. See already Dale Lee kind of falling off the back there just to kind of, I think he's going to be kind of in that ride mode, which is more the strategy I prefer, especially even in a 14 truck race. I'll sit right there at the back and just kind of hang. I would be that boring restrictor plate racer that everybody would call me.
I wouldn't necessarily call it boring. I would say it's
smart.
Just smart.
Right.
You have to finish first if you're going to win.
Ah, yes, young son. If you're going to finish first, you must first finish. So off turn 4 as they get these things wound up. Massey going to jump to the front here on that high side with help from Reeves in that 93 truck. Giuliano on the bottom has his teammate Murata. Usually sometimes you get a light field like this, you might see some trucks actually go single file and kind of ride a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if we get that tonight. I don't think we will, though. There's a lot of guys within this pack that want to race, and I think Joseph realizes that and he wants to drop out.
He going to the back. What surprises me about that, Landon, I'm gonna get your theory behind this. You did the way you went to the back, kind of the way I like to go to the back. Go up to that high side and let them go around up top, because you don't lose much speed going up there. Where on the bottom, you're on the apron now. You kind of got to back off, or else you're risking not getting to the corner quick enough, and have to make the right turn back onto the track and cause a wreck potentially by that. But it seems like a lot of people like to do that.
I think it depends on the starting spot. I think with this one, the 75 started on the outside, so that's where he had to go. But it's kind of, it could go both ways. If you go to the top, some guys will go below you, and some guys think you want to take it 3 wide, and they'll go and try and push you, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to the back. We're trying to go opposite ways.
A little bit of damage on that 93 truck. I guess it's 33 here, but hey, look at the top of Reed's truck there, right up the top of the grill. Looks like there's a little ding there.
Yeah, he's been pretty aggressive with the bumpers. At least tonight so far with the sprint race in the first couple of laps. So I think he's just ready to get up to the front race.
And that's what he's exactly going to do here. Battle of green trucks. They're breaking the law of whoever made that rule about green trucks are never good in a race. Dylan leads that lap. One thing you will see a lot out of these trucks tonight is you'll see that group on the high side just continue to push and pushing. Oh, Brandon, hold on. Get that run off that top side and take the lead usually.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing feeling with these trucks, because that is what happens at least with the Xfinity cars. The trucks, not so much. They have that same where the middle lane is the best lane, but it takes a lot more momentum to get past that inside lane. So I think it's to be a lot more even between the 2 lanes tonight.
Should mention the first lap of the race was brought to you by Sim Speed Shops, specializing in custom sim racing hardware. Sim Speed Shops, manufacturing sim racing hardware utilizing the best components available, as well as mixing in real-life racing components when available. Customize your hardware and rig today. SimSpeedShop.com. As Giuliano becomes the 3rd leader in 4 laps. See, this is one of those races I think would be kind of cool if, like, all the trucks that started actually led a lap somehow.
Still possible.
It is. I mean, you only got to lead 14 different laps here, and you got it. See that, was that Chrome number 48 up there, Joe Owen. Sorry to remind you, Daytona Xfinity winner. Daytona Cup winner standing next to me sort of right now.
Only thing about that Cup winner is he doesn't have his teammate to go with him this time. He'll have to do it on his own.
Hey, here's the Cup winner right here. We're on board with him. Kind of biding his time, riding back here. Probably driving one-handed like I like to do at this point. Gotta do something. Just throw one hand up there, put the other hand and rest it.
Yeah, just on cruise control at this point.
'27 trying to make a move. That's Dylan Gonis. What a personality that young cat has. Canadian driver there. A pretty funny lad. Through the tri-oval, which is not your normal tri-oval. That thing is banked at about 18 degrees, I think it is. Obviously makes your truck very light, easy to spin. It's bumpy on the bottom, but not to mention a little bit of a banking difference. A lot of people don't talk about that. There is a banking difference on the bottom lane to the next lane up. That can really be interesting. See Gonis pushing him down into turn 3 and 4. There's that 29. Ira Kohlhaas got the backup Pepsi machine out. He had a pretty mashed up Pepsi can there a few minutes ago. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCam 4 Gourmet. We appreciate those guys being a part of our cameras as always tonight. You see him most of the time here on the Captain Esports Network, and a big thanks to It's Van for all the hard work that he has done and putting all these cool cameras together to give you the closest thing to real life racing you will see here on a simulator. Check them out, trackcams22.com. You look up here from the drones, you see the 64. There's Murata back there with him. Chandler Summers, who was having a pretty solid run last night in that 21 truck. Cool looking paint scheme, actually. Not sure is that one of your paint schemes there? Or is he get it for someone else?
I'm not sure on that one. I'll ask Anthony on that one. That wasn't one I did. I usually do my own, but a little bit selfish. But we'll have to ask Anthony on that one.
Children these days, boys. Children these days. '93 with a very unique number placement on his truck tonight. You see it right down in the left rear door. Hold on, young man. Whoa. Yeah, speaking of hold on last night, what were you guys doing at times, going 5 wide and 4 wide in those middle laps?
Don't ask me. I wasn't a part of it. I was laying back at that point.
I'm like, good grief. I mean, in fairness, I have seen 6 wide at Talladega once in the sim, so.
Yeah, I kind of just watched it in front of me and let it play out and be like, that's exactly why I'm riding back here type of moment.
There it is, the Pepsi machine up to the front. Ira Kohlhaas to he's in the sucker hole a little bit here. Oh, I see he can fight his way out, and he does. You saw that happen.
Luckily,
go ahead. Dylan Reed into the wall. Contact. And Dylan Reed and the 84 into the wall. No caution yet. They do have a reset to use tonight.
And both teammates, and then once again, there's another reason why I like to ride in the back. But yeah, I was gonna say that Ira has 2 of his teammates right behind him. Reeves actually joined in with that Bohica Esports group tonight, and then obviously Massey with the similar DEI inspired paint scheme with the Mountain Dew truck behind him. So yeah, they got 3 trucks tonight I guess to compare to the Wilder Graphix Racing's 4 trucks. So as long as those guys get stuck together, it'll be pretty interesting because we've seen those guys do work together pretty well. We saw it at Vegas with the next gen cars.
Usually I reference the 23 car like we used to back in the day with the 15 and 8 when they were pushing each other to Daytona and Talladega wins all the time. I tonight might, just for the one time here, mention the 94 truck. And if you don't do the math of the 65 and 29, you'll get the 94.
It might be, hey, I mean, they're just going to go control the race now. And I don't know if that was planned. That looks like almost a bump gone wrong, but now they got both lanes controlled.
They called Junior back in the day the Pied Piper. It was like, follow me. I got this. Competition cautions will be coming up again, and the winner of the Cup race will go to the back. Ira Kohlhaas. Oh, hold on, Brandon. So it's really going to get fun for you guys come next week. I have not seen a race yet since I've started broadcasting LSRL, which of course was the first race this season. I have not seen you guys attack a road course yet. Nor have I seen you attack a roval yet.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We got a good group of guys. I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch because at least with last season we ran the Daytona road course and Watkins Glen, only one road course on the schedule this season, but should be a lot of fun. I ran pretty good at the Daytona roval. I can't say the same about Watkins Glen, so we'll see what happens with there, but it should be a lot of fun, and I think there are a lot of guys that are ready for the roval. Well, when I say ready, I mean they're
as ready as you're gonna be.
Yeah, because some guys like me are going to be seeing that track for the first time in their iRacing careers, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, some people like me are going to be broadcasting their first race from the roval. It's one I've actually not done yet in my schedule, and I actually get to do it a bunch next week. So I'm looking forward. Actually, it starts tomorrow night for me, broadcasting from the roval. So I'll have one tomorrow night, one Tuesday night, one Wednesday night. I will have the term heartburn turn written down sometime during the evening. All right, so the Pied Piper, we'll call him here, Ira Kohlhaas leading this race, and Joe Owen's like, all right, none of this single file crap. This is Giuliano we're on board with. Get right up there to that bubble. Push away. Do not want to get to that left rear. A big check-out. Caution is out. We got trouble on the track. Right there in front of us, Joe Owen is involved. Also the 5 of Murata and the 21 of Chandler Summers bringing out the caution. My guess is a bump draft gone wrong. Tough break for those trucks. Let's go see what happened here on lap number 13. We're out of their second truck on the outside. Oh, yep. So, was a Tony Hawk rail slide there, but 65 getting a piece of it also. Basically, it looks like a bump from the 93 truck to the Murata truck gave him another bump into Owen, and Owen was off center, and it sent him packing. Let's look at it one more time. Go ahead.
Yeah, just typical Talladega. I mean, that's where the run's going to start, is from that third truck. They have about the biggest amount of momentum than anyone in that pack, which is, I think, I don't know, it's not a misconception, but not a lot of people talk about it. That's where the run starts, and the responsibility of that third truck is you have to make sure if you're going to bump the guy in front of you, you have to hit him just right.
Right.
Or else something like this is going to trigger and then take out a few trucks.
Get one more view of it. Next, actually bounce back here to, trying to see, this is about the end of the pack here. Let's go to Brandon Massey and watch. There's that bump, and there's that wreck. A caution out for the first time in the race here at lap 14. Gives these guys a chance to take a quick break and come to pit road and get some fuel and maybe some tires, depending on what they want to do. Obviously, a comp caution still coming up here in a few minutes. Gives me a chance to talk about Wilder Graphix here for a second. Wilder Graphix providing the best iRacing paints and liveries around. Check them out today on Facebook and take a ride on the wild side. Obviously, you could have Landon painting your truck, which looks like this blue thing. Had the fastest chicken on iRacing on his car last night. Is that like clouds in the front of your truck there? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I call it the day and night special. It's daytime in the front, nighttime in the back. I think you'll see it like right around the deck lid. It's like a moon. Something different. I always think it's something different. I mean, look at the next gen car I had was, you know, Galaxy in Flames. Something. It's always something.
The Kid Cudi paint scheme, for those who remember that song Day and Night from the mid-2000s. Anyways, pit stops happening. Now I'm starting to sing it. Anyways. I got to be careful singing on the air. I sang a line to a song once in the early part of me streaming on YouTube, and they immediately cut my stream off. I was like, all right. I guess they didn't like my singing either. Pit stops, everybody rolling away. For some reason, we're not able to watch Landon's pit stop like normal. But look at this, Dylan Gonis getting a lead off pit road here.
Yeah, Dill's ready to go.
So appreciate the viewers watching tonight. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button or follow wherever you're watching us. I know apparently Facebook's having some kind of issues. I'm going to look into that and figure out what I can do to fix that. But for some reason our Facebook page isn't working, so I've had to send a link to YouTube over to the Facebook pages just to get that going. But if you're watching on YouTube tonight or on the old Twitcher, we appreciate it. I just realized something. Let me get to the back of Juliana's truck. Let me make sure I'm seeing this right. All right, Anthony, move back to the left. Trying to see the back of Dylan's truck. He's too far back. But I believe I saw South Park.
Yeah, he's in the, you talked about his personality. He's in the Blame Canada truck.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. And come to think about it, I think that movie came out before you were born.
Probably, and I probably never watched it either.
You had good parents growing up. You had good parents. I'm not saying every parent that let their kid watch South Park's bad. Let me get that out of the way. Unfortunately, the things that maybe that should be the fun we have in the chat and stream. We get some people watching. Talk about the things that Dylan or that the Mr. Quisenberry here, Landon, missed in his years since he was born, mid-2000s, we'll call it. The things he missed before birth, like The Simpsons in a rated PG or even rated G category at one point when they were just totally clean. Shows like Married with Children. Fantastic. Actually, this is the first time I think I'm going to say this to anybody ever in my life. Everybody's always said it to me because I was young enough at that point to get away with it. Now it's you. I graduated high school when you were born.
Did you?
Yeah. I just thought about that.
So 2004.
Yeah.
Huh.
Usually they're saying that to me. That's a new one for me. And I think as I said that, I lost 4 more strands of hair.
It's got me thinking about it because I graduate next year, so 2022.
Yeah, which means I'll be I'll be doubling my high school years. Oh boy. Wait, what was that now? What was that slogan I heard after 2022?
All I was saying, I was graduating after.
Oh, I thought
but I was
heard
gonna
you
do.
come some kind of catchy slogan that we used to do back in the day. You know, it'd be like, "Oh, fo for show" type thing.
No.
22, what you gonna do? Or 22, drink Mountain Dew.
I can't really think about that one. That's a good plug, by the way, for the Bohica guys, since they're representing that David Sparks PepsiCo brand.
Out of Kentucky,
Around
right?
their trucks.
Or Tennessee?
Yep.
Like
Hopkinsville, Kentucky, I'm pretty sure.
nice.
Fun group of guys are there. Had me up on their podcast Friday night. That was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Podcasts are fun. I've actually done a few myself now. I actually co-host one with another league I broadcast for on Wednesday nights. We actually had a funny one this past week, but that's another story for another day. Podcasts are fun. Kind of let out your side that people don't get to see, you know?
Absolutely. I think I kind of let mine out a little bit here, though, so hopefully.
Let it out. We want to know who Landon is. That might be the most spread out restart I've ever seen. Here we go. As Gonus, somebody didn't tell him not to go early.
Well, I mean, the restarts are on the leader by the rule book, so.
True. But I'm saying usually on these tracks you don't go early. Because usually when this pack gets the momentum, it's, well, here comes everybody. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Watch this 93, going to get a run down the back straightaway. Here comes Landon jumping to the top side. Let's see what Giuliano does if he jumps up. 93 jumps up. It's actually worked out better for Dylan.
It worked out better. You had to count it down and had a teammate right behind him. Which, I mean, I had a pretty good idea of when that restart was going to go, but unfortunately you can't do that due to the rule book. You cannot pass over that start-finish line nor change lanes, so kind of just had to write it out.
And these are guys back here in the back that kind of felt disadvantaged to it. Some of them probably used a reset there. Some might not have, depending on, how conservative they want to be. In this case, if I had minor damage, I hold on to the reset because it's too early in the race. And if you get a big one later, at least you got still one in your back pocket to use.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you just want to save it. There's no...
Right.
Too early. Too much can happen in these type of races towards the end.
There's Joe Owen, who was just involved in that wreck. He used a reset, and now he's using his, his right foot, I guess. I'm trying to think of a funny word for like a push-to-pass IndyCar type thing. His jets, I guess, to get to the high side there, but unfortunately, he's going to lose the draft to that high line and fall backwards.
Yeah, and that was not typical to see Landon go up there and actually race this early in the race. And I think as soon as he saw the 48 go 3 wide, he backs right out of it and was like, nope.
Not happening. Not tonight. So for those who don't know what like the draft is all about, this is the best way I've been able to explain it, especially for those who don't actually drive race cars like me. Picture yourself on the interstate, and you're out there just running on your own in the right lane, hopefully, not being that meanie that's in the left lane blocking everybody. And then all of a sudden you get this 18-wheeler that you pull up on the back on. And all of a sudden you get all this air that's hitting your car, and all of a sudden you feel like you're being moved around everywhere because the air is coming off the back of the trailer, and you're hearing the air hitting you and stuff. And all of a sudden you just pull out of the from behind that truck and get out in the clean air again. That is what it's like with these trucks are getting behind these others, and then all of a sudden they pull out like the 65 just did there. Except these guys are doing it at, 120 miles an hour faster than you, hopefully on the interstate, unless you're one of those idiots who's going 120 on the interstate.
And then you might know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, fair point. Or they might know what a 4X is.
Oh, for sure.
So Joe Owen trying to get a run back here to the top side. And here comes the soda machine, we'll call it. There's a nickname for them too, the soda machine. And of course, there's always an energy drink in every soda machine. Rowdy trying to jump up back there. But look at this, the Mountain Dew truck going right to the front. Massey with help from Colas. You see Giuliano down there in the bottom. He's got the 64. Bouchard helping him out. And pushing Gonis back out to the front. I'm sure Dylan's having a blast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Usually he's a lot talkative. I remember these type of races, complete silence. these races, once you get up in the lead pack, it just takes a lot of focus to be out there.
A funny story about super speedway races I got to share. Michael Steffen, I know, is a member of this league. He's actually the guy that kind of got me connected with you guys to get everything worked out and so on and so forth. He is one that's not too fond of the racing on anything bigger than like a half mile. He is a short track dude. And so in a league once, I was broadcasting. He decides to run at Talladega in the league race. He's got all of his buddies there, and they push him out to the front. And I had never heard in my life somebody actually yelling and complaining, and like it kind of was like a child being like, "Mommy, get me out of this room," or "Mommy, get me out of here. I don't like this," type of yelling. And he's in the lead of the race. I mean, in fairness, I do know what he means by that, because I don't feel like I have much control when I'm in the car out front. The only thing I can control is sitting up next to that yellow line. I can't, if like Anthony's coming up to the back of me, you know, heaven forbid that, you know, he makes a mistake and pushes me the wrong way and all of a sudden I'm spinning. I have no control of that. I mean, all you can do is trust and hope that a mistake like that doesn't happen. So your top 6 right now in the front pack as we come up to lap number 25. Watching on board here with the 93 of Reeves. Two reasons why you're kind of seeing him off-center himself from the rear of the truck on Owen. Obviously, one is to get some air to it, but two, believe it or not, if you are square behind somebody, it's a lot harder to get to the bubble it's an invisible bubble that's right here, to get to the back bumper of that truck. You almost have to burst the bubble, and to do it, you got to come in from the side almost. Or you just go 3 wide and say, what bubble?
Don't worry about a bubble if you're not behind anybody.
He just bursted his bubble.
Yeah, that's the sucker roll right there.
Yeah, that was another thing I saw last night in the Xfinity race. A couple people making moves that they would try to make the move and saw the run coming to the bottom, and they would go start to way to the bottom, and finally what time they did, here comes the outside line, and all of a sudden they were in the middle.
I think I made a move like that in the sprint race for the lead and got abandoned by everybody. I'm not really sure if I remember that quite right, but
it's one of those deals where you have to make a decision, and you have to make it like there's no hesitation. If you're 4 wide.
Oh, that was close.
Well, they're not done.
Goodness.
I was going to say, don't make it out of the gas or else they're going to be wrecking. And I might be doing impersonations of Kyle if he hits the wall tonight. Dale Lee has worked his way to the front. I guess one thing I would like to request for Dylan, if he runs his paint from now on, can we please get the chef or the counselor on the side of his truck? Okay. I mean, we got Sheila was it Sheila Brovlowski? Isn't that the teacher's name?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I was going to say you wouldn't know, but, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay. racing up here at the front of the pack. Let's check back here. There is Chandler Summers, who has a brand new truck. There's Landon Quisenberry, who's just hanging out. 84 of Anthony McInturf. Was the 33 tonight of Dylan Reed. Dale Lee, who I don't think has left the back of the pack so far tonight. He's driving at, of course, the sun glare just caught my eyes there off the truck. I was trying to see the sponsor on there. Dylan's like, I got this. 29 laps complete next time by. One of the cool things that we get to watch here from Talladega and the guys from Track Cam 4 Gourmet have made for us. There's a few tracks you can actually go get a specific package like this, the fan cam. So it's actually set up and you can actually go in and manually adjust where you're at and kind of see where, like, what it would look like watching a race at Talladega from the seats. Like here would be a view from like the start finish line. That's about where I sat for the Xfinity race back in 2011. Now, standing there might get you kicked out of the track, but hey. Oh, I saw that coming. Oh, into the hole. Oh, wow, that is not good. And caution is out. Dylan Gonis impales the wall. I kind of saw it coming. Unfortunately, Anthony was being pushed, and he was right on the right rear of Dylan. And this camera just had the perfect view of that wreck. Caution number 2 on the track. And for Dylan, oh, man. Oh, my God, they killed Kenny. I won't say the next line for the sake of adult listen or kids listening. There's right hook. Well, actually, one getting pushed. And wow, that. '93 also involved. Ryan Reeves, I believe that was his second truck.
ID. Pretty sure I had a pretty good view of this wreck.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know who also had a really good view of this wreck, and we're going to go on board with him here. If you're one that has a weak stomach, you might not want to go enjoy this ride here, but we're going to get on board. Let me hit pause here for a second so I can make sure I set this up right. With the truck that just got impaled. Hey, there's the South Park guys in the front. Or in the back, I guess. But Dylan Gonis, this is going to leave a mark. Yep, that's going to hurt. Now, for those wondering why that happens, obviously, one, it's a graphics thing and a pixel thing and all different types of things. But in real life, that is actually where the crossover gate is at Talladega. So he probably hit the inside of that, and it obviously coding and all different types of crap that I just don't understand.
Yeah, some of those barricades like that will get your car stuck. That was something that bit me in an Xfinity race at the Glen last season. Was I had to spin in the S's and tap the front end of the car on one of those. There's pretty much they're basically guardrails at the Glen, and well, I had to tow because I was stuck in the wall. Can't really do anything about that. So
I had a wreck at Vegas once. Me and another truck were running for the lead. He got into the side of me, and it sent me to the outside wall, and I actually landed 30 feet back from where I hit. So think about that, going 175 mile an hour at Vegas in a truck, hit the wall, stop square, and back up 30 feet.
That's funny. That reminds me of a pickup truck race that I did, or a pickup cup race that I did. I think a while ago. It was at Legacy Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the wall and got kicked out for driving backwards, even though I was flying through the air backwards.
What was the wreck? There was a broadcast I did a couple nights ago from Charlotte. It was the Great Lakes Sim Racing Series Wednesday night. There was a wreck on the front straightaway. One car got hit and went airborne and actually landed over on the Roval. Speaking of Rovals. So here we go. 4 tires and fuel, some resets, some damage fixing, and all that going on here. As it looks like it will be Joe Owen winning the race off pit road. We're going to step away for a quick second and come back, get you more racing here on the Captain Esports Network. It is coverage of the Wilder Graphix Truck Series.
Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at www.thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use promo code LSRL for 20% off.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway Virtually here on iRacing as we are covering the Lightspeed Racing League in the Wilder Graphix Truck Series on this Sunday night. Of course, the race was Wednesday night. This race is normally one that we do on a Sunday night, but unfortunately due to circumstances outside of my control, that's an acronym for work. Well, I had to do them as anybody know why Dylan Reed was going through the grass just now over there? Covering this Xfinity race, or the truck race after last night's Xfinity race. So we appreciate everybody joining us. Lightning Raccoon in the 95 joining us. Appreciate you, sir. That's Bryce McCoon. Oh, by the way. Watching on the stream this evening. But, yep, second caution out, lap 31. In what has been a pretty wild race here so far. And, Landon, you've been kind of hanging out in the back, as you've mentioned, a little bit of a strategy move. Now, last night that it worked until the last lap. What's the mindset when you do a move like that, when you go to the back? Obviously, you're sitting there trying to keep the truck clean to get to the finish. But knowing that, okay, going up through this pack is going to be interesting. What goes through your mind at that point?
It just really depends on the situation. I mean, I usually just wait. I mean, if you're going to ride in the back, I just say keep on doing it until you absolutely know that it's your time to go. I mean, for me, that's usually about around I'll start thinking about, I'll keep enough distance with that lead pack within a second to keep that draft. And then you just got to wait. If they're, still up there at 20 to go, you can think about going 15 to go. But then once it gets to 10 to go, you want to start going up there and get racing, because if they don't wreck and you're not up there by 10 to go, you're not going to have a shot just with the way that the shuffling goes around in the draft. So it's a chess match, to say the least.
It is a chess match, and it is a tricky one here at Talladega Superspeedway, but this is your opportunity right now for those watching. Turn up the speakers. It's Sunday night. Let's start it up on the Captain Esports Network. You see Summers up there leading right now in the 27 at Dylan Gonis. He has a lap down, however, has worked his way back up through the field and is trying to unlap himself. He's trying to do it the old 1990s way.
It is smart, because he is 2 laps down currently, but with him being in the front of this, it'll be put him 1 lap down, so it'll be a lot easier to catch 1 caution here at this final segment instead of 2. So he's gonna have to have a lot of he has a lot of work to do if he's gonna get back on the lead lap here, and also have to have a lot of luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not 1985, where Bill Elliott went and gained 2 laps on his own under the green flag at a Talladega race once, and won that race, oh, by the way. And when I mean on his own, I mean it was green flag the whole entire time. As we see the 21 by, as the 5 and 17 work their way on through. Field kind of spread out, landing down there at the bottom of the 75, behind the 65 of Massey. That's what it's all about. Staying up here as far as you can to the front so that you have a challenge for the lead in the end. At least the rule, I know Landon kind of mentioned about a second or so. I've always learned that if you're within a second and a half of the lead, you can hold on to the draft. Barely, but you can hold on to it and potentially be okay at the end. However, it's probably better if you had somebody there helping you. So 3 laps from the halfway point. You see Giuliano, they're battling up there. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Oh. He almost had an energy drink get smashed. Which I'm sure that hit kind of made the butt kicker that Anthony has go a little bananas, which, of course, butt kicker products are silent subwoofers that develop a powerful and audible bass through your couch or chair, so you can actually feel the crashes, race engines, and special effects in your movies and your games. You can use promo code LSRL for 20% off of the butt kicker website. I actually have mine sitting over there right now. Probably going to hook it up in the next day or so and be ready to go racing myself and probably tick off my neighbors with the bass and stuff. You see the front four, now front five, gone single file here. Landon riding into fifth position here, just kind of, as he said all night, just kind of crossing his T's and dotting the I's, just minding his own business here, just running it down on that yellow line. So again, next week for both series, it will be the Charlotte Roval. We'll have the race Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time, live for you on the Captain Esports Network. And then Wednesday night, of course, they'll run this truck series, and we'll bring it for you next Sunday night. And tomorrow night, the TI Truck Series from Bristol. We have hit the halfway point in this race. And this is our chance to let you know Track Time Entertainment builds custom driving simulators for the virtual racing community. They manufacture simulators in Texas using U.S. extruded aluminum. You can visit Track Time Entertainment on Facebook for all the sim rig needs and a full lineup of their products proudly made in the USA. So Joe Owen kind of getting hung out there on the outside, falls back in line in third, and we have a single file line here for, will be for about a split second probably. Somebody's going to probably pop out in the next 5 seconds. All right, I'm second. I'm sorry, I was off by about a second. As Owen pops back out for second. So when it comes to the final lap, Landon, do you want to be the follower or do you want to be the leader?
Follower. I'm always going to be the follower. I feel like when you're the follower, you can control your own destiny. When you're sitting there as the leader, you have nothing going for you except just whatever happens, happens.
Now, I used to say until the Green White Checkers came out about a year or so ago, here on iRacing, I always used to say I wanted to be the leader at 5 to go. Because it seemed like the percentages were high enough that the caution was going to come out before the finish. And if it did at that point, the race was over. But now with Green White Checker, it's like you got to set yourself up for what you think is going to be the right way to win the race. As you see, the 64 had a great run earlier tonight, going 2 laps down.
That's the thing too. I mean, it's just unpredictable. You could sit there and be the follower, and you could be like me, the Xfinity race at Talladega last season, you know, and get greedy for a win, make the perfect move, and all you have to do is hold the bottom, and then you go and block someone up at the top and about right rear yourself, and then end up, you know, crashing right before the start-finish line, and then, you know, taking away what could have been a huge points day for your championship, and you know, throwing that all away in the garbage. So it's just unpredictable.
And of course, you got, you know, so many different things. I mean, I go back to an NIS race that I still to this day feel like that it was mine to lose and I screwed it up. Coming to the white flag at Daytona, I had a guy that, a real good friend of mine that we were running first, and I can't remember if we were first and second or we were first and like third or something. But anyways, he got shoved. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We were first and second. And the third and fourth place car were working together. And the third place car jumps to the top. And he ends up getting the fourth place car to push up there, pushing him. And, of course, my immediate reaction as we're going to the tri-oval is, you know what, they're getting a run here. I jumped to the top to throw a block on him to kind of cut the run off to try to get back to the bottom. And by then, the teammate of mine had such a good run on his own that he was able to get to my inside, and then the other guys jumped to the bottom, and I fell to the back end of finishing fourth in that race. Unfortunately, this kind of track, it's more the races we've thrown away than the ones we've won.
And some of the ones that you've had thrown away for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't help it at all.
No, not at all. Everybody just kind of riding here. 34 to go.
One thing interesting to note with all these guys running single file is if they stay this way, they're going to have to make one more pit stop before the end of the race. And if you're one of those guys up there like Giuliano and Gonis, you are burning more fuel as the leaders than the guys that are getting towed around in the draft. So that could play a major factor too, is if these leaders may not have enough gas to make it to the end. They have to make it to a certain mark.
That's the one thing I did not check with Anthony on is the fuel mileage here. Because obviously in the Cup cars, it was 80%. I don't know if it's still 80 in the trucks. But if so, obviously you're looking at probably about 30 laps or so on a tank of fuel. But the reason why you see the 17, as we're talking about, he's going to have to pit quicker is because he's the one that's pushing the air. All these other trucks are pretty much driving with less, not drag, but less resistance. And that's where it's allowing them to pretty much stick up here behind the 17 truck, but also be able to go even faster in a line.
Yeah, less resistance, and you can use less throttle too.
Right.
I mean, you look at these guys that are keeping that distance between themselves, like the 75 and the 5 or the 48 to the 65. They're, they can only be running about 80% on the throttle.
Right.
And still keep that distance. So that's just less fuel being burned.
Fastest lap of the race, a 51.54 by Joseph Murata early in this race. Otherwise, everybody else pretty much right around 51, 52 seconds. But yeah, the question is going to be, when do they come to pit road here? It's been about 17 laps. And how about Joe Owen up here on the top side by himself? What's going on is everybody's having to check up, and Owen's just holding it wide open, and he's able to get some runs with a little side draft. He's able to get to that right side, and basically what it does is it takes the air and almost puts it behind the right rear tire and pulls the truck back, basically. Think about it like when you're, another example of this, I've felt this actually before. If you're driving down the road, you got your windows down, and you get an 18-wheeler driving past you, and all of a sudden you feel about a split second of a gust of wind blowing to your window. That's a side draft. And Joe Owen is, he is all heck bent on making this move. On board with Massey. Mountain Dew truck up here in the fourth position right now as Giuliano says, all right, I'm time to save fuel now.
Yeah, I think that was something he got worried with his teammates. Is he's been burning a lot more fuel. I think someone like Landon or Joseph probably have about 2 more laps of fuel than him currently, just because he was in the lead of that pack.
And I don't know if you could see it in the mirror of that truck. There was one truck that had to move up the track to let Anthony get in line, or else there would have been a wreck there because he was down on the apron. And of course,
Yeah, Anthony was fortunate though, because he was able to plot in right in between 2 of his teammates.
Right. So now you got Dylan Gonis, who is the leader of the race, but not the leader of the race, as he is actually a lap down now in the 27 truck up front. As they say in super speedway racing, if you're in it, you can win it. Right now, 9 trucks are in it. .51 laps. Look at Joe. You know what's going on? I think these trucks up here are saving fuel a little bit, and it's allowing Joe to just hold it wide open, and he's getting the run. That's exactly what's going on here. Now, that is one thing you never see here, is a truck by itself. Go up there and pass 3 trucks. There's Giuliano, who just led here for a little bit there in the 5th position now. Got the 21 pushing him, 75 up ahead there, Quisenberry. Of course, this track, home of some big-time history in racing. I talked last night about how the first race was run here, and there was a huge protest between the NASCAR drivers and NASCAR itself. They felt the track was too dangerous, and Bill France said, hey, we're going to run a race here tomorrow no matter what, and he went and got a bunch of replacement drivers to fill in that race. And I forget the gentleman who won the race. Of course, there was 1973, and now I got to remember the driver's name off the top of my head. It slipped my mind. But we had a driver who was in the race leading, oh, by the way, and parks his car in the garage mid-race. And he gets out of the car, and they're like, what's going on? And he said somebody was speaking to him. And he thought they were ghosts, which was ironic that this track was built on a burial ground, an Indian burial ground. And, of course, you know, that all happens, and then he returns to racing like 4 years later. He took like 4 years off. Gets back into a car at Hickory Speedway, and unfortunately he suffers a heart attack in that race and ends up dying in the hospital. There's that. You got the Allison, Davey Allison winning his first race in '87, which was the race where Bobby Allison goes up into the fence, which introduces us to restrictor plates. The tandem race of 2011, which was actually the last race my dad and I ever went to together, where Jimmy Johnson won a 4-wide cross-the-line finish when everybody was pretty much Mario Karting each other. Carl Edwards flying up into the fence.
Pretty much any finish with Ryan Blaney within the last 3 years at Talladega.
You got the and I hate to bring up this moment. I know he's a league member, and we haven't seen him yet this season, but the Elliott Sadler ride at Talladega a few years ago. As we got some trucks coming to pit road here. Dylan Reed is in, and Dale Lee's taking the back way in.
Yeah, mowing some grass and hangs on to it, but it's going to lose a ton of time. That's unfortunate for the two guys he came in with, because they're going to have to slow up to make sure that they all get hooked back up together.
Yeah, he'll get an unsafe entrance there, so that's going to be likely about a 40-second penalty. So his race is pretty much done. They're not going to really have time to wait on him. They're going to have to just go. But McInturf in the 84, the Wolfpack truck there. Also Dylan Reed on pit road. And there they roll out. Looks like fuel only. I was going to say, did the 84 speed or something? But he ends up being okay, it looks like. So just to note again, the 27, Dylan Gonis, is not the leader of the race. He is the first, or he's actually one lap down right now. One of 3 trucks a lap down. He has the 29 of Ira Kohlhaas, who is the actual leader of this race, pushing. Brandon Massey second, and then Joe Owen third. With 24 laps to go, everybody should be in the fuel window now, I would believe. And here they all come, everybody else to pit road. Fire drill. Everybody does a great job. Very conservative looking. Usually there's that one truck that's like yelling out Leroy Jenkins or something as he goes flying into pit road. Oh, Ira overshot his pit stall a little bit. Everybody 4 tires, maybe at least 2 tires in fuel. I see the 64 truck rose up. Tell you what I would actually have done in this strategy right here. I would have went left side tires. And why, you might ask? Well, the handling of these trucks aren't terrible. They can get out here and drive. But it's actually quicker changing the left side tires than the rights, because you actually got to cross back in front of the truck. So Massey, Owen, all these guys coming off pit road. That leaves the teammates of Quisenberry and Giuliano coming to pit road. And actually only landed in the pit road this time by. Did Anthony run out of gas? Because he's falling off over here. I think the truck ran dry. Remember, he led all those laps early in this run. And because of that is, well, unfortunately dry in the tank.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt Landon and those guys as well, because he's going to have to wait for those guys now that these guys have gotten hooked back up. And if he waits, he's then losing time to the other packs, and he's just going to have to make that up on the racetrack instead.
And there's Landon pulling away right now, waiting on Anthony, and I think he is waiting a little bit. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting.
He has no help whatsoever.
That awkward moment when you're waiting for the pizza guy to show up at the house. That is Landon right now. So that leaves 4 trucks now in this lead pack, and 3 of them are on the lead lap. Brandon Massey, Joe Owen, and Ira Kohlhaas. As they put a lap on the 40 truck of Dale Lee, who unfortunately, as we mentioned a little bit ago, an unsafe pit entrance penalty for him. Set him back. You see the gap between these 4 trucks is huge. You got these 4, and Dylan Reed and them just came off turn 4. So it's about a full straightaway back, which comes out to roughly 11 seconds. Now, is there ways to catch the leaders? Absolutely. But you need a lot of things to go right. You need your pack to stay tight. You got to keep all your engines cool. Got to be able to push each other, and I mean push the whole entire time. There's so many tricks to it. And you need this to happen for the leaders. To go side by side like this as Owen goes at a high side. You're trying to take the lead. All right, green flag pit stop's over. We're going to step away real quickly, our final break of the night, and we'll come back and get you the finish of this Talladega Truck Challenge. It is the LSRL Truck Series presented by Wilder Graphix here on the Captain Esports Network.
Butt kicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at www.thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use promo code LSRL for 20% off.
All right, back we are here at Talladega Superspeedway Virtually on iRacing. 17 laps to go in this Wilder Graphix Truck Series event, as green flag pit stops just wrapped up a second ago. And we see the 65 of Brandon Massey now leading this race with Ira Kolas, his teammate, second. The Pepsi machine is up front. And Joe Owen there in the third position. And it's 14 seconds back to these four trucks as they somehow try to find a way to get to the front pack. But looks like they are losing time last time by. As a matter of fact, they were actually a little bit faster, but not fast enough. As those guys are Dylan Reed, of course, Anthony McInturf, who's right there behind him in fifth. Landon Quisenberry, who's in a whole nother pack. There's two lap trucks in this pack. Landon's back here with the lap truck of Joseph Murata and Anthony Giuliano. So the teammates here are lined up. Unfortunately, though, he only has one that's on the lead lap with him, and that's Anthony. And, of course, they had a little bit of an issue with pit road and stuff. And then you got the trucks that are a lap down. Dale Lee, Joseph Murata. And that is your top 9. Pardon me. And then Chandler Summers there in the 10th position. We still got 12 of the 13 starters on the track, but only 12 of them on the lead lap. I'm sorry, 7 of them on the lead lap. I should learn how to count one day. And 16 laps to go. We mentioned the 94 truck a little bit ago. I know I said I wouldn't mention it really again, but they've been up front here. They've done a great job running as a tandem. And oh god,
I was gonna say almost deja vu to the Vegas race.
yeah.
I mean, they have one car behind him, and then they have another lap car right there with him that can affect it, but we're not really sure if he will or not. Except last week it was Cade Ferguson, and this time it's Dylan Gonis.
Right, and then of course last week it was Ira Kohlhaas leading Brandon Massey protected. Now it's kind of like I said it last week during our broadcast. I said, you know, and you'll see the script maybe flip next week at Talladega or somewhere else, where I'm sure Brandon will be up front and Ira will be following. Here we are a week later. It's exactly what's happening. And that takes a lot of unselfishness, because it's so hard as a racer to sit there in your vehicle and be driving and accepting that, okay, I'm likely finishing second in this race. If I knew I was finishing second in a race with 14 laps to go, and I would have two different feelings. If I was in that position and knew the leader was faster than me and we were at another track like Texas or something and they were gone, all right, cool. But knowing that the leader is right in front of me and I'm settling for second, I would feel like I've given up. That's me as a driver. Now, Ira, of course, obviously might have a different mentality or different thought process there, and is trying to help a teammate out, and it's totally cool. I have no problem with that. But we'll see if he decides to go for the lead. He might not have a choice here, because here's Joe Owen jumping up with help from the lap car or truck.
Sometimes you just have to do what's in the best interest of the team. I mean, look at Owen end up clearing him, but you have to look at, for example, like Colleague Racing in the real life Xfinity series. They do what's better for the organization as a whole than the drivers. Of course, the drivers want to take home the win as well, because they have people that support them, and you know that you go out there, and you know is the reason that they're at the track every week. So it's difficult, but at the end of the day, it's you know, completely up to the teams and what their whole mentality of it is.
Right, and that's the thing too, is as you mentioned the mentality, you mentioned the understanding of each team. I mean, I'm sure you go in that Colleague shop, Matt Colleague and the guys there that run that team, Chris Rice, and I'm sure that is the exact mantra that they put on this team is, you know what, we are a family. We are a team. Sorry, I was watching these cars. They spread out like the caution came out or something. I just kind of hesitated there for a second. But, you know, that's the way that team has been built, is off being a family, where you look at the powerhouses of the Cup Series, Hendrick, Gibbs, and stuff like that. You know what? I go back to that race, was it the 2017 Fall Talladega race, where the Stewart Haas cars ran away with the show, but at the end of the race, it all blew up in their face almost.
Just how plate racing has almost become nowadays. I mean, you look at it, there was the 2018 Fall Talladega race with Stewart Haas.
Yeah.
The opposite of it, where 2016, Joe Gibbs just ran in the back because they didn't want any of their drivers to get wrecked out, and Denny was the only one that ran up there and did anything. The 2016 500 was dominated by Toyota, and then nowadays it's all pretty much manufacturer based. So that's almost the mentality you have to have coming to those plate races sometimes, is to go out and win as an organization rather than yourself, which is really hard as a driver to put that away sometimes, because if you look at a guy like, you know, look at Joe Owen, he's been making moves all day long, even when they were running single file, because he wants to go out there. He doesn't have any teammates. He's going to go out there and win for himself.
Now that battling between those four trucks have allowed Dylan Reed and guys to bring the lead down to about 10 seconds. About 11 and a half now is where it's at. So they are gaining, but slowly. Now, this could be an interesting conundrum that's coming into play. Let's look back here behind the 64 truck. Here's the three trucks of Giuliano, Quisenberry, and the 5 of Murata. They are slowly reeling in these guys. And if these three can catch these 4 plus 3 equals 7, that really could make this draft come into work. But as you see now, these guys have picked up a 5th guy. This is turning into like a draft, literally. You gonna pick that guy? Fine, I'll take this guy.
Yeah, that's some of those second packs I don't want to see is just the leaders gaining more people. I mean, look at the Xfinity race that the series had at Daytona a few. I mean, I'm trying to think how many weeks ago it was, but another situation. We had about 5 cars break away for a wreck that wasn't called a caution or wasn't deemed a caution by iRacing, and the difference between this race and that race is that there's about 3 packs separated, and the leaders have about the same amount of cars or trucks that that second pack does.
Look at this run.
Yeah, they have a huge run. But when it came to Daytona, that second pack had a ton more guys than that lead pack did.
Oh, a little door check there. Hip check, as I like to call it. And, of course, that was the fastest lap of the race by Quisenberry. I saw that coming. You got to run like that going probably close to 200 mile an hour. Problem is now they got to get back single file because they've fallen back 13 seconds. You saw the pack going into turn 3 already. So now you've got 7 trucks that see if you guys can work your way up there to catch these guys. It's going to be easier said than done, but when you're like this, not going to happen.
Unfortunately, too, the clock's just winding down. They only have 8 laps, well, 7 now to do something. So if they're going to be able to catch these guys, they're going to have to be hauling in order to get them.
Yeah, you'd have to gain about 1.5 seconds per lap. Is it possible? Yeah.
Likely?
No. Now, of course, as they say that, it's like they were listening to me 5 days ago. And here we are now, single file. But now, Landon, you've got to pretty much get on that back caboose, that tailgate of that 17, and you got to push like there's no tomorrow, which is very stressful, by the way. And you don't think he's pushing? You got a camera for that. Come on, Landon, get up there.
It's actually funny. I think I was taking advice from another truck race that we had done before in plays where if you kind of get close enough to someone's back bumper, but right here I'm not, without bumping them, you're faster than if you're shoving them.
It's that bubble,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to find that gap where you're almost past the bubble but not pushing them, and it's kind of hard to get, especially when you're got so many guys in the pack. Like right here is about the distance you need to be running your fastest without losing the momentum from the bump.
But as I said earlier too, you notice you went to the right before you got there and then came back in instead of just going straight up with them because of just the way this truck's set up. If you go directly behind them, you're going to run the same speed. You don't get any kind of run. It's very weird how that works. And that lead has come down. It's down to 12.5 seconds. So you've gained a second. The problem is you had 2 laps to gain that second. Meanwhile, Joe Owen has gone back to the front. Yeah, this is a feeling you don't want at all. Being the leader, you got the soda machine there behind him. And then you've got the lap truck behind them. The problem is if that lap truck's going to help you, you got to find a way not to lose momentum until that truck gets to you.
Yeah, his only help in this pack's going to be those 2 lap trucks. And, unfortunately right now with the way they lined up, he's got the PepsiCo duo behind him, not the 2 lap trucks. So as soon as those 2 pull out, he's going to have to wait for Dylan and the 21 of Summers to pull up to his bumper. And by the time that happens, Massey and Ira are probably going to be clear of him.
Right. Now, what is the ideal move here, I think, in this situation? My thoughts as I'm watching this right now, is if Owen gets to about 2 to go, I pull up the track and get to the middle lane. Let the 2 Pepsi trucks to the inside and hope that the 2 lap trucks are coming with you. And if that's the case, you're going to put them up on the high side with you, and it kind of traps those 2 Pepsi trucks on the bottom.
Yeah, and the best case scenario about that is, too, you have the preferred lane at that point.
Right.
The outside, the middle lane is the best lane at the plate tracks. You have a little bit more momentum than at bottom. And especially in a 2v3, you know, that's the perfect situation for the 48. Unfortunately, he has to figure out. I mean, there's Dylan right there.
This is when I make the move. That's when I make the move. If I'm the 48, I'm jumping up there with him. Because here, well, in a way, actually, this is blocking the Pepsi trucks from making a move. And probably also making them very mad because, well, now they're like, well, now you got a lap truck interacting here. But here's where you come back with this as your defense. You're battling for position with the 21 truck right now. They are both 2 laps down in 10th right now. Two to go.
See what happens. I definitely agree. That was his opportunity right there. As soon as Dylan went up and Somers followed him too, that was almost picture perfect, but he just didn't. Yep, there it is.
Oh, he got to his right rear. That's it. But here comes Gonis to the bottom. Let's see where the 21. 21 goes to the top. And they cleared him.
Fortunately, he's going to get one more shot at it. If he can just back up and he'll have the 21 behind the 27, he'll have at least one more chance.
Oh, the 27 goes up, though. The 27 went up to protect. He's got to protect himself. He's battling the 21 right now. 4 bats for 10th position right now. So he had to move up as we're going to see the white flag final lap. Brandon Massey leading. Joe's got a run here, and here comes Ira to the bottom. Brandon protects the middle lane. That almost all but sets it for a 1-2 potentially. Oh, if Joe might have had a chance to shoot the middle there.
Oh, what a save by Massey, though. He had one heck of a shove there.
Owen's going to give it a shot to the high side. He's got the lap truck of Gonis.
He can get it if he can just side draft him just enough.
Coming through the tri-oval to the finish line. Owen gets turned a little sideways, and it looks like Massey by 2 1/1000ths. So once again, the PepsiCo duo, as you called them, have taken the inside lane and taken the win with Massey in his first win in this truck series, and actually the first winner in the truck series.
Such a great way for him to get that win, and his first, I'm pretty sure his first win with his dad spotting for him there, buckshot up on the tower. So it's a great win for Bohica. And, I mean, they're unstoppable. That's 3 wins in a row now for Bohica Esports and LSRL.
Yeah, and that counts both series, obviously. So, all right, let me go back and let me get the finish for you really quickly here. Of course, I'm not ready replay-wise, and I hit the replay button. See if I can get you a better vantage point of that finish. Yeah, right there's the difference. That bump actually might have been the difference. How weird that's going to sound, but that truck got turned a little sideways. It killed the speed. Let's, here we go. Watch this at quarter speed. So right now, Brandon's got the advantage. There's a bump that's going to happen right there. Turns the 48 sideways. Yeah, I think the 65 would have got it no matter what.
Yeah, it was an uphill battle for the 48, and Dylan's giving him every little shove he can to get him up there. Fantastic finish there. And Gonis, again, for those wondering why is there a lap truck helping up there,
the 27 and 21 are battling for 10th. And the 21 was right back there at the back of the inside line. So they had to keep going and push to try to get the best finish possible when this is all said and done. So you see the finishing order there on the left-hand side. Massey wins it. Owen finishes second by 4 100ths. Kohlhaas third. Landon finishes fourth, 10.8 back, so he gained about 3 seconds. Giuliano fifth. McInturf sixth. Dylan Reed finishes seventh. Marata eighth. Lee finishes ninth. Dylan Gonish, your top 10. There's Summers finishing 11th. Bouchard 12th. And Reeves off the track in the 13th position. Now, the one thing I will do real quickly here, now that we have done both broadcasts, let's put up the point standings for both series. You'll see it pop up here on the screen here in just a moment as I slide it across. Let's start with, of course, this is the Grid Finder Xfinity Series where Dylan Reed leads the points going into the race at the Roval next week. Hang on one second. I'm trying to. Let's do that. Get him off the screen. There's Dylan Reed leading right now by 15 points over, or 14 points actually, over Ira. Landon, you're there in third, about 31 points back. Justin Wilson, fourth. Brandon Sheets, your top 5 as you again head to the Roval. So that should be a very interesting race in itself there. And then let's pull up the Cup Series points, or now Truck Series points. And this one might make you smile a little bit more, as Landon Quisenberry leads the points. As I hit the wrong button, let's do that again. Here we go. Landon leads it right now by 5 over Ivor Kohlhaas. Dale Lee is third. Adam Brady, who wasn't here tonight, is fourth. And there's Dylan Reed up into the top 5 now officially in this race. So look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Was that 6 winners so far in 8 races? Or 7 races? So it's definitely been a very competitive season here of the Truck Series / Cup Series and the Grid Finder Xfinity Series. But, of course, that is going to do it here from Talladega. Some fantastic racing. We're going to get out of your final thoughts from you, Landon.
I mean, who can stop Mojica? It's going to be a challenge. I've talked to those guys before. They said they're ready for the Roval, but they're not keen on road course racing, so they're going to be putting in a lot of practice throughout the week as much as they can to get ready, especially with Ira being that close in the Truck Series points battle and Xfinity's, but he's in second in both standings in the points. So it'll be interesting to see if that momentum can keep and carry over for next week, and we'll see if I can do anything at the Roval. We'll see what happens to the first time. First time at Darlington for me went okay in Xfinity, and then let's not talk about the Cup race.
He made it all of a half a lap.
Yeah. Not my fault. Well, part of it was, part of it wasn't.
We'll see what happens there, but for those who can't hold a straight face here in that team name, don't worry, I can't either. With that said, we're going to head out tonight. Appreciate all the viewers watching this evening. Appreciate, of course, the LSRL for allowing us to broadcast the races, as it's been a lot of fun to take care of here this year, and, of course, from Grid Finder and also from Wilder Graphix, who are the sponsors of all of those series. And speaking of Grid Finder real quickly, if you're looking for a league to be a part of, you can check out Grid Finder. It's the home of online racing communities. You can browse hundreds of leagues racing on all the platforms across every racing sim every day of the week, from iRacing to Assetto Corsa, ACC, R Factor 2, F1 2021, and more. If you're looking for a commentator or a streamer or, your own racing broadcast or whatever, you can go check there. Also, designers for your next livery, like Wilder Graphix or Grid Finder. That's the place you can go and get all this talent in one place. If you run a sim racing league or whatnot, you can actually upload your calendar to the community there at Grid Finder and find like-minded sim racers to join you. And best of all, it is free. You can check out Grid Finder today. So, all right, we're heading out. Appreciate Landon for joining us. He'll be back with us next Sunday, hopefully, and we will go from there. But Tuesday night, we'll be back at the Roval for the Grid Finder Xfinity Series. So with that said, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and always remember, it's not just a game.
It's iRacing.
Pro right there. See ya.